Two phrases you need to be aware of. Number one, peccati errant. That refers to the Allobroges, and peccati means to pacify, but since this is passive, it means they were pacified or recently defeated and brought under Roman control. The next phrase that might give you some pause is bono animo. Good mind is kind of a weird literal translation. You should instead think of it as well disposed. Erant omnino itinera duo, quibus itineribus domo exere possent. So Caesar is describing two routes. Itinera duo, those are the two routes, and that they are the subject of erant. Quibus itineribus domo exere possent. Notice this is a relative clause of characteristic. That's why it has a subjunctive verb. Two routes such that by which sorts of routes they would be able to leave from their home. And now he's going to describe each one in great detail. Notice here, unum refers to the understood iter, one route, but that's understood. So he just says unum. That's why it's neuter. Unum per sequanos angustum et difficile inter montem Ioram et flumen Rhodanum, vix qua singuli carri ducerentur, mons autem altissimus impedebat, ut facile per pauci prohibere possent. Let's keep looking at this first route. We've got a prepositional phrase right here, talking about where it goes. And then we have an adjective phrase actually, angustum et difficile. Notice these guys are neuter, just like unum is neuter, because they're both describing the first route, and the word iter, itineris, is neuter. So it is a skinny and difficult path. He gives us another prepositional phrase talking about where it goes, inter mountain Ioram et flumen Rhodanum. So apparently it's between these two things. And over here, this is interesting, we've got a subjunctive. And I think it's because we've almost got some sort of result clause. It's so narrow and difficult, the understood so, Tom is understood, that scarcely by this way, singuli carri, individual carts could scarcely be led because the route is so skinny, so narrow and difficult. Then he keeps going on. What else happens here? Mons autem altissimus impedebat. My bad. Notice altissimus is superlative, describing the mountain. So it's a really skinny route, and on one side of it, there's this really high mountain. And it's so high, altissimus, again, it's understood, that facile per pauci prohibere possent. Facile is adverbial, per pauci is the subject, and here we have the verb. It's so skinny and so high that a few people are able to stop their route very easily. Oh, that doesn't look very promising. Let's take a peek at the second route now. Alterum per provinciam nostram multo facilius et expeditius propter ea quod inter fines Helvetiorum et Allobrogum qui nuper peccati erant Rhodanus fluit isque non nollis locis vado transitur. So let's look at the second route. Notice again, this is neuter, just like unum is neuter, because they are both describing the word, the understood iter. So the second route, the other one, where does it go? Oh, how convenient. It goes through our province. That our province, of course, the Roman province. And then we have facilius et expeditius. These are neuter comparative adjectives. Normally comparative adjectives have the IOR, but in the neuter, they have an IUS. More easy and convenient, multo is an ablative of degree of difference. How much more easy and convenient? By a bunch. That's an ablative of degree of difference. Especially because propter ere quod Let's see. Oh, look, we've got a prepositional phrase, among the borders, or between the borders, and let's see whose borders? Of the Helvetians and the Allobroges. So this second route is a lot easier because it goes between the borders of the Helvetians and the Allobroges. Notice, since it's the Helvetians who are leaving, they control one side of the border, so that's not going to be a problem. And the Allobroges, let's see what we know about them. Qui nuper peccati erant. Hopefully you recognize this pluperfect passive verb. Who had recently been pacified, that is, they stopped fighting, probably with the Romans. And what else do we know about the route? Oh, Rhodanus fluit. Remember what the Rhodanus is? It's a river. And it, i.e. the Rhodanus, the Rhone River, non nollis. That phrase always goes together, and that's a double negative. Not none, that means some. In some places, then we have an ablative here, transitor. Oh, look, there's a verb that goes with this ablative, because remember, whenever you have an ablative, you're expecting some sort of passive verb. So the Rhone flows, and it is crossed in the shallow part in not no places. That is, in some places, you can probably walk across because it's so shallow.